Will Arnett,
Yes.
lovely to have you here at Comic-Con.
It is my pleasure to be here.
You're here for Lego Batman.
I'm here for Lego Batman. And I'm also hosting a show here at Comic-Con.
Well, the sci-fi show.
Sci-fi show.
How exciting. So you're doing a lot of work here. This is work. Well, on top of work.
Well, it's work.
So what does that entail when you're hosting a show at
This
Sci-Fi?
doesn't feel like
This
work.
doesn't feel like work, no.
You need to know that.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So when you did Lego Batman,
Yeah.
the Lego movie, which everyone, when it first announced, they're like, what is this? It turns out to be a huge hit, and then your character gets this huge spin-off movie.
Yeah.
Did you see it going this direction?
No.
What did you see when you got into the booth?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I think that, when I first talked to Phil Lord and Chris Miller, whom I'd known for many years before, they kind of out of the blue called me and said, we're going to make the Lego movie. And I thought, well, what could that be? And then, of course, I start working on it. They're such funny, hilarious, smart guys. And, quickly was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be pretty great. And it came together really well. And we were all very excited with how it ended up. And then when audiences responded, that first weekend, was a great sort of one of those great, rare kind of victories where you work on something that you feel that you're proud of and that's really good, and that also audiences respond to it. And then that night they're like, hey, we're thinking about making a Lego Batman movie. What do you think?
Wow.
Yeah.
That night?
That night.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah. That was a pretty rad, drive home.
What did you work with? What did you work with Phil and Chris on previously?
Well, it's a good question. Will is my name, and he worked with. I worked with those guys briefly on the first incarnation of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh.
There was a moment, a few months, where we recorded a bunch, and it was a much darker version of what that movie ended up being at Sony, and I think they were going in a really kind of in that direction. All of it, the script, the theme, the art, and I think that a lot of the powers that be decided that was a little too dark, and so they kind of changed it all up. And in fact, it was myself and Amy Poehler.
Oh, wow.
Playing those parts, and ultimately they went a different direction. And so Amy and I were like, okay, I guess we're kind of out. And we both we're like, oh.
Were you the Bill Hader character?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it was so different.
Okay, how?
It was just, like I said, it was just a lot sort of darker and grittier, and not as kind of bright and optimistic-y and, sort of goofier in a good way. I don't mean that, in a pejorative sense. But so, and it was fine. And I think that Phil and Chris felt really bad about that because we recorded a bunch and we had a lot of fun. And so I think that there was a lot of residual guilt on their side.
Worked out for you.
Yeah. And so then they came back to me, years later, and they were like, hey, listen, we want to do this thing. We know what happened last time, but we promise that this is going to happen and it will be a good thing. And actually, then that great night that the movie opened, Lego, and we were all at a restaurant together with, everybody who was involved with the movie and the studio and all of us. And I actually said to Phil and Chris, I was like, remember that thing? This is so much better. Who knew that door closing kind of opened this? And now we're making these other movies, and that was the best possible thing that could have happened for me.
Yeah. When it looks like it has a lot of the same feel, the trailer for it looks like it has a lot of the same feel as the Lego movie.
Yeah.
I mean, is it still very funny?
Yeah, it is. It's really funny. Chris McKay is directing this Lego Batman, and he was a big part of the Lego movie. He was kind of like one of the unsung heroes. And there's so many. Obviously, there's so many people. It takes a lot of people to put those movies together. And Phil Lord and Chris Miller at the helm. They're such brilliant guys. I can't stress that enough. And great writers and funny directors and smart. But they kind of brought Chris in, and he was a really big part of it. And Chris has infused this movie with that same dynamic. You know, right from the get-go. We found a lot of things that made us laugh about Batman in the Lego Movie. I had some of the deepest laughs I've ever had working on that movie, like being in the booth with Phil and Chris. You know, there's a moment in the film that it sort of got edited down, but there was a whole bit about Batman saying to YSL, "If you want to be with me, you have to get used to my debilitating addiction to partying with complete strangers." and that, like, when we recorded that, I just remember, you know, in super deadpan and taking that super seriously. I was just on my knees with tears streaming down my face, and that, you know.
Did you think that the lobster thermidor joke in the new trailer would hit as hard as it did?
No. I mean, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I don't mean that I didn't think it was that funny. I meant more that I was happy. I was happily surprised at how well it resonated. And it's, you know, it's a risky move to have that much dead air and that kind of joke in a teaser trailer. If it goes the other way, it's like, oof.
So now that you're joining like the long legacy of Batmans,
Sure.
Do you guys all talk? Do you guys have a text message group?
We're on a WhatsApp chain.
A WhatsApp chain?
Yeah.
Excellent. How does Ben like the Lego Batman?
He's been quiet on the chain. No, actually, you know, it's funny. I did a bit with Ben for Jimmy Kimmel's Oscar show, and where Jimmy sort of reveals that he sees Ben and he's like, "You're Batman," and Ben sort of plays it off, and I come in and I say, "I'm Batman," and Ben says, "No, you're Lego Batman." And you know, I leave with my tail between my legs. I should mention I have a tail, but in talking to Ben, he was very gracious and mentioned that, you know, how much his kids liked Lego Batman, which was very sweet. And I haven't seen Batman versus Superman yet, but I bet you Ben makes a good Batman. He's got that sort of moodiness and sort of gravitas, and you know, and he's a big dude, and you know, he's handsome as all get out, and charming and athletic, and I sound like I want to date him, but
a little bit. That's okay. That's good.
Okay.
It's Ben Affleck. Come on.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah.
How much more music are we going to see from your character?
Well, that's TBD.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still.
Were you at least recording
Still
some?
a work in progress.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not. The movie's not finished yet. You know, we've got a lot of it is completed, but it's a constantly kind of changing and evolving thing, and that's what's I love about this process and working in animated films, and especially with these Lego movies in particular. We've really had the chance over the last 2 years since we started on Lego Batman to kind of get into find things that work, go back, record some new stuff. You know, it's cool.
That's nice that they have that much space.
Yeah.
Do you go in the booth with any of the other actors? I think Jenny Slate is in this, maybe.
Yeah, no. The only person I've recorded with on this time, the first one I did, I recorded with Chris and also with Liz a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I only recorded with Zach once. But we recorded we spent a whole afternoon. We did a lot of stuff, and we did some fun stuff. It was cool. I mean, I've known Zach forever, and we're pals, and so it was like really fun to be able to just go in there and goof around.
How many times do you think you've had to say, "I'm Batman"?
A lot more than I ever thought I would as a child. I'll give you that. I probably said the words, "I am Batman." Sorry. I am Batman. Sorry, I just had to because I got a microphone.
It's great.
Yeah. It's cheap.
No, it's great.
It's a cheap move. Probably 400 times.
400 times? I love that you put a number to it.
Yeah.
I forget. Yeah.
You asked me how many times.
No, I think it's great
Yeah.
you can put a number to it. I think it would probably be almost exhausting.
I could have said a lot.
A lot? Yeah, many times.
Yeah, many times.
But it's so iconic with the character.
And
it's
also I know
says.
that I can, whatever number I say, you can't verify it. What are you going to, you don't have the resources at the LA Times. What are you guys going to do, an investigative piece?
Probably. Most
think
likely.
so?
Oh, yeah.
Like
let's go
Limelight,
back.
like that?
Yeah.
Sort of?
Limelight. Yeah, it'll be our
Putting the whole
spotlight.
team together. You guys are like in the basement investigating how many times I've seen.
We're going to
That'd
go
be
for it.
amazing.
Which Batman's your Batman? Everyone grew up with a certain Batman. Who's your Batman?
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? I think it's insane. Most people, we've been asking a lot of people here, and a lot of people have said Michael Keaton. A lot of young people have said Michael Keaton recently.
Really?
Yeah, it's been really
Well,
surprising.
they're just trying to be ironic.
You think so?
Probably.
Okay.
They probably don't even know what they're talking about.
We got a few Will Arnett's.
No way.
Yes way.
Come on.
They loved the lobster thermidor. They loved it.
Okay.
And they brought that up too. They
they
loved
really?
it. Yes.
That's funny.
Fans are super responding to it.
That's cool. I like Michael Keaton's just a cool guy in general. I think he's such a, first of all, he's a really funny performer. I think people forget that. And on top of being a really great dramatic actor, he's so funny. Mr. Mom was one of my favorite movies for a long time.
Multiplicity.
Multiplicity, less funny. Gung Ho.
Gung Ho. That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
And the other one was Clean and Sober. You ever see that?
I don't think I've ever seen
With
Clean and Sober.
Emmett Walsh. That's a great movie.
Okay.
And it's kind of tragic. And he's just a super talented dude.
Yeah, it was great in Birdman.
Great in Birdman. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
It's like a whole superhero spoof.
I know. I should see it.
Do that on top of all the other things you're doing.
I'm busy. No, I'm kidding. I don't know why I've kind of weirdly, and Zach's in it too. I feel bad.
Yeah.
I
you're
know.
a bad friend.
I'm a crappy friend. But I've just in the last sort of 6 months had the opportunity to run into Michael Keaton a couple times.
Really?
Yeah. Just like in weird places. And not like men's rooms at a bus station or something, but
weirder.
Because he was not there. And I hang out there a lot.
Yeah.
Tapping my toe.
Under the sink,
Under
yeah.
the sink. Yeah, you know the move. No, I ran into him at the Vanity Fair party. You know, very fancy. And then I ran into him in Las Vegas at the NHL Hockey Awards.
Do you like I'm Batman?
See, those are weird places.
Those are really, yeah, I get it. Yeah, those are great. But do you like I'm Batman as well? Do you talk about it, or are you like, no, I'm not going to go
No,
to
I'm not. With Michael Keaton, I'm way too nervous. And he's such a nice guy, and we had like a nice bro out moment. And
That's nice.
Yeah. I told him, I actually I probably geeked out on him a little bit. I sort of said like, hey, I just want you to know, I think that you're such a talented guy, and I love everything you've always done. And I sort of named some stuff, and he was like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, legendary.
It was incredible.
I just find it surprising that you can still get shocked by people that you meet because you've been in the industry for so long.
Yeah, I know, but it's rare. It really is rare. I mean, I'm much more into like if I meet if I see like a famous hockey player,
Okay.
then that gets me starstruck.
What's your team?
Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm originally Canadian.
Okay, there you
Are
go.
you a Kings fan?
No,
Do you like hockey?
I do, but not a Kings fan.
What's your team?
Oh, it used to be Blackhawks.
Oh, Blackhawks. I like
Yeah,
the Blackhawks.
they're good.
Yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah, they're good now.
Yeah, they're good now.
Yeah.
No, it's a fun team.
Yeah.
Talented kids. Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, Duncan Keith.
They won a couple years ago. It was fun.
Won twice.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, they're having a good run.
And they beat the Bruins
Yeah.
in a heartbreaking fashion.
Yeah, and it was really.
After the Bruins had beat the Leafs in a heartbreaking fashion, so I was happy about that.
Oh, you were? That's
Yeah, it
good.
made
Well,
me
yeah,
happy.
that makes sense. Good.
Very few things make me happy.
Just hockey?
Yeah, hockey. No, I'm totally.
Very few things at all. Yeah, just
No,
Batman
that's
and
not
hockey.
true. A lot of things make me happy.
Well, Will, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you for letting me sit on your couch.
Yeah, very uncomfortable couch.